There's also a bit of corporate activity going on at the moment in Australia. Billabong's board has firmly rebuffed private equity player TPG's $900 million bid this week. And the Singapore agribusiness group Wilmar has snapped up 10% of the struggling food group Goodman Fielder, while Wilmar hasn't made its intentions clear. The Financial Review, at least, reckons a full bid is in the offing. So have you been keeping an eye on these things, Adele? Billabong has kind of said they don't want to know about it. Is that okay?
Yeah, so this is twice, isn't it, that they've said that, and they're even saying even at a $4 price they're not interested in talking, which I find pretty outrageous, that they don't have to do a takeover, but at least engage, at least chat and discuss what might happen.
But there's almost no point, because Gordon Merchant owns 13% and his offsider, who he's associated with, owns another one and change.
Yeah.
So an on-market takeover bid will fail. They've almost certainly got the numbers to reject a scheme of arrangement, and you wouldn't imagine that the board would endorse one if they knew that.
Yeah, you can understand at the top of the market these private equity bids were, Qantas was bid for and all that stuff was going on. Here we are, bottom of the market, not bottom of the market, but near the bottom of the market, or in a completely different patch, and yet private equity is really active. Why is that?
Partly it's because they're sitting on quite a lot of cash, but they're trying to take advantage of some cyclical downturns in some sectors.
But they have to move that cash for their mandates, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They've only got the cash for a certain amount of time.
Yes, it's usually 5 years, and so, pre-GFC there was a lot of funds that were raised, and
2006, so we're 5 years gone.
Yeah, so that was the peak, and so a lot of the super funds don't really want to give the cash. But the equity funds have got, this is really the year for them, so they've got to sort.
So do something or lose it.
Yeah,
it's actually
that's what it is. It's use it or lose it.
It's kind of a rare, good thing for small investors, for retail investors generally. Instead of being ripped off, they're actually going to possibly get a bit of a wave of cash from private equity who just need to unload it.
Well, that's right. I mean, you see that at the moment.
Forced buyer.
Forced buyer.
Yeah. But it's interesting, though, because a lot of the private equity funds that are trying to raise new money, no one's interested. The super funds are just turning their back on this sector.
There's a lot of minority shareholders in Goodman that would like to get out at a $3 or $4 price.
Yes.
There is absolutely no question on that. But that doesn't mean that the board has to sell the company on their behalf. So they can sell it on market and take their own losses if they like.
So if you're trying to work out who they're going to buy, it's basically cyclical industries that are bottoming. So all the retailers are on the list, aren't they?
Yeah, and looking cheap because they can't raise too much debt.
They're looking at the retailers.
They've got to use a big whack of their equity to do it.
Well, Spotless is the other one that's in the frame at the moment as well, and that's a very different business. Contracted revenue, much more stable, where there's a hell of a lot of upside. So
but they're engaging, aren't they?
They've been forced to engage,
because they don't have a 13% shareholder that's...
No, they don't. In fact, they've got many shareholders who own something like 30% of the register, forcing them to engage and threatening to remove the directors if they don't.
That's right.